Hi, this is Hardik Singh, and today we are going to review the Micromax Canvas Pulse 4G. Micromax has churned out some good phones recently. The company has launched more than half a dozen phones in the same category, that is to say, the sub 10 category. Amongst these, the company has launched another phone which we have with us today. This is the Pulse 4G, and by the look of it, it looks like a very good phone for the sub 10K category. It boasts a really good spec sheet and a nice form factor. But is it different from previous phones which came out from Micromax? Before we jump into the review, let's do a quick rundown of the spec sheet of the Micromax Canvas Pulse 4G. The phone here has a 5-inch display. This is a 720p panel. The company says they are using on-cell technology for the display. There's a 5MP camera up top. There's a 13MP camera at the back. And the phone is running on the MediaTek 6753 processor. It's in 1.3 GHz octa-core processor. There's 3 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage and a 2100 mAh removable battery inside. The phone supports dual SIMs and a micro SD card as well. Moving away from the spec sheet, let's jump into the display and the UI of the phone. The Canvas Pulse 4G comes with a 5-inch display with a boast on-cell technology and a 720p resolution. First thing to notice is the good viewing angles. No matter how you tilt the display, it remains visible even at extreme angles. The color accuracy, on the other hand, is not up to the mark. The display is slightly yellowish and dull compared to other phones in the same segment. You would have noticed that the UI is slightly different from the previous phones Micromax have launched thus far. It is still a stock-like UI, but it is riddled with preloaded apps and not so good looking UI. It works fine, but the pop-up notifications and double function multitasking button are far too annoying to give this phone a clean chit. Moving away from the annoying UI, you will see the good looking design of the Canvas Pulse 4G. The phone really ups the design quotient of the sub 10K segment and can easily be described as one of the best looking phones in the segment. The metal rails and the Phillips screw heads and somewhat the mattish back gives the phone a very premium look. While the metal rails add a nice touch to the overall design and the build of the phone, the back doesn't feel that grippy, although the build quality is still very good and the phone feels relatively sturdy. Moving ahead to the performance of the phone, the MediaTek MT6753 SoC is beginning to become the norm of the sub 10K price segment. First on the Meizu M2 Note and then on the Coolpad Note 3 and now this. It isn't much of a surprise since it is a very good SoC. The performance of the Canvas Pulse 4G reconfirms my findings. The phone is able to handle all small and relatively big tasks without breaking into sweat. The addition of 3 GB RAM makes the multitasking less of a doddle. Gaming on the phone is fairly good and occasional lag or stutter does creep in, but that's about it. Audio performance is average, and yes, the rear speaker does get muffled up when the phone is kept on its back. Sound quality via earphones is nothing extraordinary either. Let's move to the camera of the phone. The Micromax Canvas Pulse 4G boasts a 13MP rear shooter which is decent but lacks finesse. The color reproduction on the images taken are almost lifelike, but the sharpness of the images is not up to the mark. There is a lot of color noise which to the keen eye makes the picture taken look like a pastel color painting rather than crisp image. Low light images tell a similar story, but the good thing is the autofocus works smooth and the shutter lag is minimal. Front facing camera is not that good either. It is only suited for ample lighting conditions, and even with the flash of the top, it's not that good. Removing the back cover, you will find the 2100 mAh battery. This is the smallest battery pack we have seen on a smartphone in this price category. The 2100 mAh removable battery was able to last us for just 6.5 hours in the standard battery test. Using the phone as a daily driver, I found the battery is not good enough to provide a day's worth of usage. The phone does require a top-up before evening to last through the day. In comparison, the Coolpad Note 3 is able to last more than 8 hours on a single charge. Overall, the Micromax Canvas Pulse 4G is a noble attempt by the phone maker, but it lacks the focus to be the best among the lot. The battery life is below expectations, the UI is somewhat annoying and the camera is average. On the other hand, the build and the looks of the phone are right up there among the best and the performance is commendable. Overall, the phone is a kind of a mixed bag with great performance and an average battery life, which leaves us wanting for more. So, in the end, we would recommend the Meizu M2 Note or the Yu Yureka Plus over this phone in the sub 10K category. So what are your thoughts on the Micromax Canvas Pulse 4G? Leave us a comment in the comment section below. And for more videos on tech, please subscribe to Digit.in.